Bible saving people. If you go to a church today, and I'm talking about the place you go to on Sunday morning, but if you go to a church today, what you'll find is the pews will be filled with unsaved people. The pews will be filled with God's enemy. And the reason it's filled with God's enemy is because the church decided upon itself, the churches, I mean the place that people go to on Sunday morning, the institution, decided upon itself that it was going to save the world. There's only one problem with that. You can't save the world. The Bible is very clear that the world will be burnt. The Bible is very clear that there is no hope for the world, that the world is destined for destruction. Just like God drew Israel out of Egypt and then destroyed Egypt, God has a remnant that He is calling out of the world to be saved, and then He'll destroy the world. So you have these places that you go to on Sunday morning that are filled with God's enemies because people think that you can go to the front at the end of the service, bow at the altar, which is not even New Covenant, bow at the altar, say a prayer of accepting Jesus, and you are saved from hell. It doesn't work that way. There's only one way. One way. Not two, not three, not four, not five. One way that a person is genuinely born again into the family of God from the family of Satan. That is, if the Father draws them. God is very clear when He says, no man comes to the Father except the Father draw him. The Word is very clear when it says, no man can understand the things of God unless God gives him the Spirit and gives him the understanding. Jesus said, all that my Father has given me will come to me. It's not a man-made thing. This whole church institution is man-made. God has nothing to do with it. God has had nothing to do with it, and God will have nothing to do with it. It's man-made. So how do you take a man-made, evil, satanic institution and turn things around and say, well, we're going to do this for God. And God has nothing to do with it, and He has nothing to do with you. God is not about blessing man-made things. God is about blessing the work of His own hands. The work of God's hands is when the Father draws. The work of God's hand is when we are conformed to the image of Christ, not to the image of the world. But that's what you see in church on Sunday morning. You see the image of the world. Well, why do you think that is? It's fairly simple. Because the church is the spirit of the world. And the spirit of the world, we know, is Satan. And we also know that the spirit of the world is the spirit of Antichrist. And that's what you have in this church man-made satanic institution. There is no salvation going on in these places. Now, there may be baby, genuinely born-again believers stuck in this institution, but God is drawing them out, that like He's faithful to do. We must continue and abide and obey, but He will take care of His own. But there is no salvation inside this institution of a man-made thing. See, man is so demonic, and I'll tell you why they're demonic. Because they have taken something of God called salvation, and they think they can take it in their own hands and do it their own way. But it'll never happen. And God will come back, and He will call His own out of this world, and I mean physically out of this world, and then He'll destroy it. And all those that are in it that are of the world or of the spirit of Antichrist will burn with the world. They will burn. There is no salvation outside of the drawing of the Father. None. So you need to quit listening to them lies that are preached to you on Sunday morning about come to the altar, say the sinner's prayer, and get saved. You go to the altar, you say a sinner's prayer, and you get saved without the drawing of the Father, you're still going to the lake of fire. There's nothing you can do. It is only by His drawing and His mercy and His grace that we even get the gift of repentance. Repentance is a gift of God. It is not the gift of man. Until next time, to the genuinely born-again believers, God bless.